We're going to do a solo deck testing. Well, 3 deck testings, but one is for the newest deck that was made, the Dr. Doom one. So we've got Firelord Azula versus Bebop and Rocksteady versus Dr. Doom. So our starting hands, Doom won the roll-off. So Doom will be going first, but let's look at the starting hands. Doom draws into Swamp, Secluded Courtyard, Dock Ock, Choked Latveria, Green Goblin, Red Hulk, and Mountain. Firelord Azula draws into Mountain, Swamp, Mountain, Thriving Island, Ember Island Production, and Obsessive Pursuit. And Bebop and Rocksteady draw into Cloning of Shredder, Hidden Hideout, Rocksteady, Michelangelo, Swamp, and Soul Ring. Ooh, Soul Ring. So Dr. Doom will start. We're going to draw into a Frostboil Snarl. We're going to play the Frostboil Snarl. Comes into play tapped unless I reveal an island or a mountain. I don't really have any 1-drops, so I don't have to, but just for the sake of it, we'll reveal a mountain. So it comes into play untapped. And pass the turn. Firelord Azula will draw into an island. I think Firelord Azula will play the Thriving Island. That comes into play tapped, and we're going to call for a blue or a black. Bebop and Rocksteady will draw into City of Brass. I think we're going to play a Hidden Hideout. It comes into play tapped. And we will pass the turn. Doom will untap, upkeep, draw. Draw into Electro. We're going to play the Choked Latveria. Now, we could reveal a Swamper Island, but we have no 2-drops. So let's just bring it into play tapped. And we will pass the turn to Azula. Azula will untap, upkeep, and draw into Secret Tunnel. What's with all these lands for Azula? Azula's going to play a mountain. Then we're going to tap the Thriving Isle for a black and the mountain. And we're going to cast Obsessive Pursuit. So when it enters and at the beginning of our upkeep, we're going to lose a life and create a clue token. And whenever we attack, we put a +1 counter on target attacking creature, where X is the number of permanents we sacrifice this turn. If X is 3 or greater, the creature gains lifelink till end of turn. So we've lost 1 life, and we've created a clue. And we will pass the turn to Bebop and Rocksteady, who will draw into Manhole Cover. Bebop and Rocksteady will play a swamp. Then we're going to tap that swamp. And we're going to play a Soul Ring. We're going to tap that Soul Ring and tap Hidden Hideout for green. And we're going to play Rocksteady, Mutant Marauder. So he's partnered with Bebop, Skull and Crossbones, so we could search for him, put him in our hand. He's got Trample. When other non-token creature you control enters, we're going to put a +1 counter on the target creature. So we found Bebop, Skull and Crossbones. We're going to put that in our hand. And then we are going to pass the turn to Dr. Doom. Dr. Doom will untap, upkeep, and draw into Vulture, Scheming Scavenger. We are going to play a mountain. Then we're going to tap 3, 2 of them being a red, for Electro, Assaulting Battery. It's got flying. We don't lose unspent red mana, steps, and phases end. Whenever we cast an instant or sorcery, we're going to gain a red. And when Electro leaves the battlefield, we may pay X. When we do, he deals X damage to target player. Then we're going to pass the turn to Firelord Azula, who will draw into a swamp. Oh, before she draws into the swamp, she's going to lose a life and create a clue token on her upkeep for Obsessive Pursuit. I think we're going to play a swamp. Then we're going to tap 2 lands to sack one of our clues and draw a card. And we will draw into an island. I shuffle this real bad. She's getting nothing but lands. This is crazy. We're going to Bebop and Rocksteady, who's going to untap, upkeep, and draw. He's going to draw into a swamp. We're going to play the swamp. Then we're going to tap 2, 1 for black. Well, both for black, but 1 for black. For Bebop, Skull and Crossbones. He's got Death Touch. Whenever Bebop deals combat damage to a player, we could draw X cards, where X is the number of counters on Bebop. If we do, we lose X life. And when Bebop enters, Rocksteady will trigger, and we'll put a... because it's a non-token creature entering, we're going to put a +1 counter on target creature. Let's put it on Bebop to take advantage of the card draw. I guess what I could have done is I could have tapped my Soul Ring for 2 generic, and then tapped all 3 of my lands to bring out Bebop and bring out our commander, Bebop and Rocksteady. But I think I want to wait for a second anyway. Or do I want to wait? You know what? Let's do that. Let's tap the Soul Ring. Let's kind of backtrack that. Tap the Soul Ring for 2 generic. We'll tap 1 black and use one of the generic for Bebop, Skull and Crossbones. And we'll tap these 2. We could say for a green and a black, plus the generic, to bring out Bebop and Rocksteady. So when they attack or block, we're going to sacrifice a permanent unless we discard a card. And because we have a non-token creature enter, Rocksteady Mutant Marauder will trigger. And we get to put a +1 counter on target creature. Let's put it on Rocksteady Mutant Marauder. We're going to go to combat. I think we're going to tap Rocksteady and attack Dr. Doom for 4. Dr. Doom will declare, how about no blocks? We'll keep Electro around and take 4 damage. So Bebop and Rocksteady will pass the turn to Dr. Doom, who will upkeep, draw into Sunken Hollow. I think we're going to play Swamp. We're going to tap 4, 1 red, 1 blue, 1 black, and a whatever. And we're going to bring out Dr. Doom, King of Latveria. So whenever we discard 1 or more land cards, each opponent loses 2 life. At the beginning of combat on our turn, target villain you control gains menace until end of turn. Oh, and it connives. So let's go to combat. We will target Electro to give it menace and connive. So we'll draw into Unstable Experiment. And we're going to discard Vulture Scheming Scavenger, putting a +1 counter on Electro. So I think we're going to tap Electro to attack, and let's go against Bebop and Rocksteady in the air for 3. Rocksteady has no blocks in the air, so they'll be taking 3 damage. So we will be passing the turn to Firelord Azula. So on our upkeep, we're going to lose a life and create a clue. And we are going to draw into the Phoenix Fleet Airship. I think we're going to play an island. Then we're going to tap 4, 2 of them being a black. And we're going to cast the Phoenix Fleet Airship. So it's got flying, and at the beginning of our end step, if we sacrificed a permanent this turn, we create a token that's a copy of this vehicle. As long as we control 8 or more permanents named Phoenix Fleet Airship, this vehicle's an artifact creature. It's got crew 1. That'll be it for Azula, so we'll pass the turn to Bebop and Rocksteady, who will untap, upkeep, and draw into a forest. I think we're going to play the forest. Then we're going to tap these 4 lands, 2 of them being green. And we're going to tap our Soul Ring. And we're going to cast Michelangelo on the Scene. So we've got Trample. He enters with +1 counter on him for each land we control. We control 4 lands, so 4 +1 counters. When he dies, we return this card to our hand. When he enters, Rocksteady's going to trigger, putting a +1 counter on target creature. So we'll put the +1 counter on Rocksteady. I think we're going to go to combat. Maybe we'll have Bebop and Rocksteady. You know what? We're going to go for an all-out attack. Bebop and Rocksteady is going to go at Dr. Doom. And Rocksteady, Mutant Marauder, and Bebop Skull and Crossbones will go at Azula. I think Doom's going to declare no blocks. And on attack, Bebop, we have to either sacrifice a permanent or discard a card. So I think we're going to discard the City of Brass. Doom will declare no blocks. We'll take 7 commander damage. And Firelord Azula has no blocks, so she will take 8. So Bebop Skull and Crossbones will trigger because it dealt combat damage to a player. So we're going to draw 1 card and we're going to lose 1 life. And we will draw into Pizza Face. So we will pass the turn to Dr. Doom, who will untap, upkeep, and draw into Ultron Unlimited. We're going to play a Sunken Hollow. So it enters tapped unless we control 2 or more basic lands, and we do. We control a swamp and a mountain. Then I think we're going to tap 5 mana. 1 being a red, 1 being a black. And we're going to cast Green Goblin, Revenant. He's got flying and death touch. When Green Goblin attacks, we discard a card. Then we draw a card for each card we've discarded this turn. So we'll go to combat. Dr. Doom will trigger, and we are going to target Electro again. So Electro has Menace and will Connive, and we're going to draw into Shriek, Troublemaker. And I think we're going to discard Doc Ock, Sinister Scientist, putting a +1 counter on Electro. So we will tap Electro to attack Bebop and Rocksteady in the air. He has no blocks because no flyers are reach, so it will do 4 damage to Bebop and Rocksteady. We will pass the turn to Firelord Azula, who will draw into Intruder Alarm. Oh, on our upkeep, forgot again, we're going to lose a life and create a clue token. I think we're going to play a mountain. Then we're going to tap 2 to sacrifice one of our clues and draw a card. And we will draw into Secret of Bloodbending. Then we're going to pay a blue and 2 others. And we're going to cast Intruder Alarm. So creatures don't untap during their controller's untap steps. Whenever a creature enters, untap all creatures. So we'll pass the turn. So at the beginning of our end step, we did sacrifice a permanent, so we're going to create a token that's a copy of the Phoenix Fleet airship. I'm just going to put a dice on it to say how many of these things I have. So there I have 2 Phoenix Fleet airships. There'll be 1 card, and the rest would be copies. So we're going to pass to Bebop and Rocksteady, who's going to untap, but can't untap the creatures because of Intruder Alarm. Upkeep, and then draw into Super Combo. I think we're going to play a Swamp. And then we're going to tap all 5, 1 being black, 1 being green, to play Pizza Face, Gastromancer. So when Pizza Face enters, we're going to create a food. And at the beginning of our end step, if a permanent left the battlefield under our control this turn, put 3+1 counters on up to 1 other target artifact or creature. If it isn't a creature, it becomes a 0/0 mutant creature in addition to its other types. And if we pay 10 and tap him, we can sack him, and we can gain 15 life. I'm only assuming because we eat him. So because a creature entered, untap all creatures, including Electro. So we're going to, and because a creature entered, I get to put a +1 counter thanks to Rocksteady. We're going to put it on Bebop Skull and Crossbones this time. So now we're going to go to combat. I think we're going to have, let's have Bebop and Rocksteady go after Dr. Doom again. And we'll have Rocksteady and Mutant Marauder and Bebop Skull and Crossbones go at Azula again. And we'll hold back Michelangelo as a blocker for now and Pizza Face. So on attack, Bebop and Rocksteady will have me sack or discard. I think I'm going to sack the food token we made. That way we can trigger Pizza Face at the end of the turn. So Azula has no blocks, so we'll be taking 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. For Doom, as much as I'd like the card draw from Green Goblin, I think I will block Bebop and Rocksteady. Bebop and Rocksteady does have a response, though. They will tap the Soul Ring for 2 and play Manhole Cover. It's got Flash. And when this artifact enters, target creature gains indestructible till end of turn. We could also pay 2 to sack that so target player draws a card. But anyway, that'll give Bebop and Rocksteady indestructible, so Death Touch won't kill it, but they will kill Green Goblin. So they will pass to Dr. Doom, who will untap, upkeep, and draw into a Soul Ring. I think we're going to play the Secluded Courtyard. We choose a creature type, so we're going to choose Villain. So we could pay or get a generic or add a mana of any color, spending it only to cast a creature spell of chosen type. We're just going to tap it for the generic because we are going to play Soul Ring. Then we are, hold on a second. No, maybe I won't tap the Ostrary. Sorry, we're going to tap our Swamp. We're going to tap our Swamp for the Soul Ring. And then what we're going to do is we're going to tap the Soul Ring for 2 generic. We're going to tap the Secluded Courtyard for red because what we're casting is a villain. We're going to get a mountain for red and 2 others. So that's 6 altogether. And we're going to cast Red Hulk. It's got Reach, Trample, and Enrage. Whenever Red Hulk is dealt damage, we're going to put a +1 counter on him. When we do, he deals damage equal to the number of +1 counters on him to any other target. And then with our last land, we're going to tap this for a red and let it float. because Electro says we don't lose unspent red mana if steps and phases end. And I'm going to put a red dice on him to indicate how much we've accumulated, if we accumulate any more. And that way I could use that red mana for either casting spells or Electro's ability if he gets removed. So I think we're going to go to combat. We are going to connive. We're going to target the Red Hulk this time, because I want the Red Hulk to get a bit stronger. So we're going to draw into a Thought Vessel. I think we're actually going to discard the Thought Vessel so we could put a +1/+1 on Red Hulk. Then we're going to attack Bebop and Rocksteady in the air with Electro for 4. So he will take 4. And then we will end the turn and pass to Firelord Azula. I do have to backtrack because I did forget to put 3+1 counters on something with Pizza Face, because we did sacrifice that food, and at the beginning of our end step, a permanent did leave the battlefield, so Pizza Face would have triggered. So I think we would put the 3+1 counters on Bebop, Skull, and Crossbones. So now that I fixed that, let's pass the turn to Firelord Azula. So she's going to lose a life, and we're going to create a clue token on our upkeep. And we will draw into a swamp. I think we're going to play an island. Then we're going to tap 2 to sack a clue and draw a card. And we're going to draw into Vindictive Warden. Then I think we're going to tap 4, 1 red, 1 black, 1 blue, and 1 whatever. And we're going to cast Firelord Azula. So she has got Firebending 2, and whenever we cast a spell while Firelord Azula is attacking, we copy that spell, and we can choose new targets for the copy. So because a creature entered, Intruder Alarm triggers. That probably should have happened with Red Hulk. And we're going to untap all creatures. I think we're going to go to our end step. And the Phoenix Fleet airship will trigger. And because we sacrificed a permanent, we're going to create a token that's a copy of this vehicle. So both my original and the copy will trigger. And we will create 2 more Phoenix Fleet airship. So I guess we'll be passing the turn to Bebop and Rocksteady, who will untap, upkeep, and draw into Saved by the Shell. So I think Bebop and Rocksteady are going to tap 4 lands. One being a green. And we're going to tap our Soul Ring for 2 more. And we're going to cast Super Combo. So we're casting Super Combo. We've replicated it twice. So target creature you control deals damage equal to its power to target creature an opponent controls. So we're going to have Bebop and Rocksteady deal damage to the Hulk. And the Hulk will trigger because of that. And then we're going to have Bebop and Rocksteady deal damage to the Hulk again, so that way we can get rid of it. And we'll also have Bebop and Rocksteady deal damage to... how about Electro? That way we can get rid of Electro. Dr. Doom's probably more dangerous, but Electro keeps getting that damage in. So let's do Electro. So 7 damage to Red Hulk. Red Hulk is still alive. We'll get a +1 counter on him. And then it'll deal damage equal to the number of +1 counters to any other target. And that's not going to kill anything. So we're going to do 2 damage to Bebop and Rocksteady. Then we'll deal 7 damage again. That will kill Hulk. And then the 7 damage will go to Electro, which will kill Electro. And I think we're going to use the 1 red floating mana to do 1 damage to Bebop and Rocksteady. Now Bebop and Rocksteady will do their attacks. So Bebop and Rocksteady will attack Dr. Doom. I believe right now there's just 7 commander damage because we did block with Green Goblin. Unfortunately, if Bebop and Rocksteady will get the damage through, we're going to keep Dr. Doom around. I guess they're going to sack the manhole cover on attack. And we're going to have Rocksteady, Mutant Marauder, and Bebop Skull and Crossbones attacking Firelord Azula. And I think Firelord Azula will also not attack at the moment. Yeah, so she's going to go down. Okay. Okay, so that was pretty brutal for especially Firelord Azula. So we'll go to the end step. We did sack the manhole cover. So Pete's Face will trigger, and we're going to put 3 +1 counters on up to 1 target artifact or creature. So let's put 3 +1 counters on Michelangelo on the scene. Then we're going to pass the turn to Dr. Doom, who will untap, upkeep, and draw into Stark Industries. Let's start off with combat. So we're going to connive. So we'll draw into Metalwork Colossus. And I think we're going to discard Metalwork Colossus and put a +1 counter on Dr. Doom. Not doing too good. Let's tap the Secluded Courtyard and the Frost Snarl. And we're going to cast Unstable Experiment. So we're going to draw a card, and then we'll say Dr. Doom will connive. So we're going to draw into a mountain. And then we're going to connive with Kang Prime. And we are going to discard... How about Shriek, Troublemaker? So we will play a mountain. Then we're going to tap 5, 1 being a black, 1 being a blue. And we're going to cast Kang Prime. So he's got flying. Whenever he enters or attacks, we're going to exile cards from the top of our library until we exile a non-land card. We're going to put 2 time counters on it. If it doesn't have suspend, it gains suspend. So let's see. We're going to exile top card. Oh. Couldn't be a big hit. It had to be a small one. Doc Ock's Tentacles. So it's going to get 2 time counters and gain suspend. Geez, one of the only 1-drops in the deck, and I hit it. Besides Soul Ring. Okay. Well, I don't think Dr. Doom's going to be attacking. We've got Trouble with the Bebop and Rocksteady deck. So we're going to pass the turn to Firelord Azula, who on the upkeep will lose a life and create a clue. And we'll draw into a Serpent's Pass. I didn't realize last turn I had 1 too many cards for Azula, so we'll get rid of a swamp. I think we are going to play a swamp. Actually, before I play that swamp, I think I'm going to pay 2 to sack a clue and draw a card. And we're going to draw into Idiot Kramer. And I'll play that swamp, and I'll tap 5. 2 of them being blue. And we're going to cast the Ember Island production. If I had one more island, I wouldn't have cracked a clue. I would have cast the blood bending thing and taken over somebody's turn. But I didn't have another blue, so I couldn't do it. Another blue or another 2 blue. Okay, so we're going to choose one. Create a token that's a copy of target creature we control, except it's not legendary, and it's a 4/4 hero in addition to its other types. So we're going to target Firelord Azula. So we're going to have basically another 4/4 of her. So that's 2. Her and a copy. We really need blockers. I guess because a creature entered, we're going to untap all creatures. Let's go to the end step, and the Phoenix Fleet airship will trigger because we sacked a clue, which I forgot to do. And each one of the fleet airships will create a token copy. So we'll have 8 Phoenix airships. So now they're artifact creatures. No need to crew them. So one thing I realized I forgot when I was looking at Bebop and Rocksteady's hand, when I hit with Bebop Skull and Crossbones, I should have drawn... Oh, it says May. It says May. I can't go back and do it. Nuts. I should have drawn 5 cards and taken the 5 damage. Now I only have 2 cards in hand. Okay. Well, upkeep. Untap, upkeep, and draw into Michelangelo Improviser. So I think what we're going to do is we are going to tap 4 mana, 1 being a green, for Michelangelo Improviser. So he's got sneak, but we're not using that. Whenever Michelangelo deals combat damage to a player, you may put a creature card and or a land card from your hand onto the battlefield. We're going to go to combat. I think we're going to have Bebop and Rocksteady and Michelangelo on the scene attack Dr. Doom. And Rocksteady Mutant Marauder and Bebop Skull and Crossbones will attack Firelord Azula. And that... Ugh, wow, okay. Wow. Rocksteady's... I forgot his trigger would go off because Michelangelo entered. We're going to put a +1 counter on... How about Michelangelo on the scene? So Firelord Azula can't afford to be hit at all. So we can block one of the Bebop. We could block the Bebop Skull and Crossbones with one of the copy, Firelord Azula copy. I wonder. That'll block 4. And we've got that Rocksteady. He's coming out for 5. So you know what? I'm going to use 2 of my airships to block Rocksteady, since they are artifact creatures. And I'm going to use the copy of Firelord Azula. Actually, I'll use 2 airships to block Skull and Crossbones. So that will kill both of them, and I will be losing 2, 2 of my airships. Sorry, 3 of my airships, because Bebop has Death Touch, so he could do 1 damage to each of the ones that were blocking him. Meanwhile, Doom must defend. So if we let Bebop and Rocksteady get through, he's going to lose to commander damage. So we have to block. We're going to block with Dr. Doom, and we're going to take the full 10 damage from Michelangelo on the scene. Okay, so we'll go to the end step. Pizza Face will trigger because we had to sacrifice a permanent or discard a card. We'll be sacrificing Michelangelo. So Pizza Face will trigger, and we're gonna put the 3+1 counters on. Michelangelo's the one with trample. Let's put it on him. Then we will pass the turn to Doom. We will draw into Villainous Wrath. Oh, this is a little late. Board wipe. We've also removed 1 time counter from Doc Ock's Tentacles. It's got 1 left. I really don't want to lose Kang Prime. But at the same time, we got to put a stop to Bebop and Rocksteady. But then again, Firelord Azula might come out on top, because right now the Phoenix Fleet airships are not creatures, because there's only 5 of them. But next turn, I'm sure there will be 10 of them. But Michelangelo is scary, and Bebop and Rocksteady is scary. That Pizza Face ain't helping either. So I think what we'll do is, let's attack with Kang Prime. We'll go straight to combat. Attack. We'll exile cards off the top. We're going to go into, the Cosmic Cube. So we're going to put 2 time counters on this. And we'll be doing 3 damage in the air to Bebop and Rocksteady. So I think we're going to do it. First, we're going to play Stark Industries. Enters tap, we're going to gain a life. We're going to tap 5 lands, 2 of them being black. And we are going to cast Villainous Wrath. So Bebop, we're going to target Bebop and Rocksteady. So they'll lose 3 life, equal to the number of 3 creatures they control. They lose 3 life. And then we're going to destroy all creatures. Then we're going to tap for a blue and a black. And we're going to tap our Soul Ring for 1 generic. And we'll leave 1 floating. And we're going to bring in Ultron Unlimited. So he's got flying. Whenever he attacks, he connives. Whenever a creature you control connives, you could pay 1. If you do, create a 2/2 colorless robot villain artifact creature token. We're going to pass the turn to Azula, who's going to lose a life and create a clue on our upkeep. And then draw into Volcanic Turret. I think we're going to play... I'm going to play Serpent's Pass. It's going to enter tapped. And we're going to play 3 blue and 2 others. And we're going to cast Idia Kramer. So Flash. Creature cards we own that aren't on the battlefield have Flash. And each opponent can cast spells only anytime they could cast a sorcery. And we're going to pay 2 to sack a clue and draw a card. And we're going to draw into Volcano of Roku's Island. So we'll go to our end step, and Phoenix Fleet Airship will trigger. A permanent left, so we will create a copy for each Phoenix Fleet Airship we have, making 5 more airships, so they are creatures now. We will be passing the turn to Bebop and Rocksteady, who will draw into a swamp. I guess we're going to pay 3, tap our Soul Ring, and we're going to cast Bebop and Rocksteady. And we will be passing the turn to Dr. Doom, who will untap, upkeep, and draw into Command Tower. I think we're going to play the Command Tower. Actually, we will not play the Command Tower. We're going to save it. We're going to save it in our hand. That'd be silly to play right now. So I think we're going to go straight to... on our upkeep, we're taking time counters off. So Doc Ock's Tentacles will come into play. Whenever a creature you control with a mana value 5 or greater enters, we can attach this equipment to it. And equipped creature gets +4/+4. Equip cost is 5. So we'll go to combat. We're going to attack with Ultron. Ultron has flying. We're going to attack Bebop and Rocksteady. On attack, he will connive, and we're going to draw into Imposter Syndrome. And when we connive, we're going to tap 1, and we're going to create a 2/2 colorless robot artifact. Villain. I think we're going to discard the Command Tower, and we're going to do 2 damage to each opponent. And then we will be doing 2 damage to Bebop and Rocksteady in the air. I'll then tap 6 mana, 1 being black, 1 being blue, 1 being red, to recast Dr. Doom. Guess we'll be passing the turn to Azula, who will, and when we bring in a creature's on tap. So Azula is going to lose a life, create a clue on her upkeep, and then draw into Scarring Memories. This is pretty much Azula's last stand. So she might be able to win here, though. We're going to attack with all the Phoenix Fleet airships. And even Edie Kramer. Might as well. I think before we go to combat, we're going to tap 3 mana, 1 being a red. And we're going to cast Vindictive Warden. It's got Menace, Firebending 1, and if we pay 3, this creature deals 1 damage to each opponent. So we're going to play a land, so we have 6 lands, so we can do at least 2 more damage if we need to. And we will play a swamp. So let's go to combat. We're going to tap all 10 Phoenix Fleet airships and Edie Kramer to attack. And it looks like if we send 5 Phoenix Fleet airships towards Bebop and Rocksteady, that'll do 20 damage. Can't block it in the air. And if we send 5 to Dr. Doom with Edie Kramer, even without her, only Ultron can block 1 of them, but that'll still do 16 damage, and that's more than enough to get rid of Doom. Wow, so it looks like Azula came out on top this time. Ooh. So I'll probably do a part 2 where all 3 of these get to go against each other once again. Bebop and Rocksteady could be pretty scary at times. But yeah, there you go. She just squeezed out the win. And thank you for watching.